Guys, with the new Dragon Ball Daima anime just around the corner, a lot of questions might come to the forefront of the minds of all of us who are passionate Dragon Ball fans. So I will ask you a question. Could Daishinkan make his appearance in Dragon Ball Daima? Would we see a child Daishinkan? Well, that would certainly be quite funny, as it would prove that even angels have a beginning of growth, right? It would be something interesting to know, but the question remains, would we see the Daishinkan appearing in this new Dragon Ball Daima anime? Well guys, the possibility of this happening is not low at all, especially because we saw in the trailer that the main villains of this new Dragon Ball Daima anime appear to be demons. So if they really are demons, angels would certainly have to do something about it, right? Since it is a completely different scale of threat than the ones the Z Warriors have faced so far, we will definitely see many unexpected characters appearing in this new Dragon Ball Daima anime, and since this anime even involves demons, I don't doubt that the angels end up appearing, and of course, this could even include the Daishinkan himself. We could see in the trailer that two demons appeared to be watching various events that had already occurred throughout the history of Dragon Ball, so these enemies will possibly be more powerful than we think. And if they really are very powerful, then it would be when the time comes when we would see the angels and the Daishinkan himself fight against some powerful enemy. It would be very interesting, as we could see how strong Daishinkan is. We know that he is the father of the angels and is also the supreme priest, the one who is responsible for taking care of Zeno-sama along with his guards, but we saw very little about him. The most we could see was him defending blows from two gods of destruction in the manga, but that was the most of what we could see. And of course we saw that the Daishinkan apparently has the ability to erase angels who break the rules established by him. But other than that, we didn't see how he actually fights and what his style is. These demons, which appear to be very powerful from the trailer we saw, look like they're going to give Goku and his friends a lot of trouble after all. What kind of enemy could simply watch past events as if they were televisions? It's like people are watching a story, you know? If we take that perspective, then Daishinkan would definitely have to intervene, don't you think? But what about you? What do you think about this? Do you think these enemies could give the Daishinkan a lot of trouble if he finally appeared to resolve this situation? Will Goku and his friends get outside help from Daishinkan with this whole situation going on? We know that Dragon Ball Daima will focus on a more adventurous atmosphere and will also serve to explore more about the world of Dragon Ball as a whole, and especially explore demons, which are enemies that are rarely mentioned in the work. The demons we've seen so far don't seem that strong. The most demons we've seen in Dragon Ball's work have been Devilman and Dabura himself. Other than that, we haven't seen many things about this race. Anyway, if Daishinkan appeared, we could see the level of Ultra Instinct he has, and I'm sure that this would leave Dragon Ball fans very surprised and also excited, since Whis himself said that Daishinkan's Ultra Instinct is very more refined and superior to him. So many characters put a certain hype on the Daishinkan, that he is an extremely strong being and everything. It would be great if Dragon Ball Daima could show the scale of unimaginable powers that Daishinkan can possess. We haven't seen much of his capabilities. However, we know that he is very powerful. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in charge of being Zeno-sama's supreme priest, is not it? Fans would certainly be thrilled to see the great scale of power that Daishinkan possesses, and thus show why he is considered a supreme priest and the father of all angels. Well, but what about you? Do you think Daishinkan could show off his skills against these new enemies that Dragon Ball Daima will present? Do you think we'll finally see Daishinkan's true hidden abilities? He certainly must be quite a monster. Despite appearing to be someone calm and patient, he appears to be someone quite frightening at times. For example, when he made the announcement announcing which universes would be erased in the Tournament of Power, he always showed macabre expressions. So, would we see this side of Daishinkan in Dragon Ball Daima against these new devastating enemies? Who knows, maybe we could even learn a little more about Daishinkan in this new anime through demons. As they are demons, they probably have a lot of information about angels, since they are rivals of angels. Well, at least it should be like that. But we don't know if Dragon Ball Daima will address deep themes like that. So we can only wait for the anime and see what it can offer us in these 20 episodes. Guys, before continuing the video, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you liked the video yet? Don't forget to like, and also if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Have you already done that? So let's continue. Guys, now that Goku is back to being a child again, could he end up getting his tail again and thus turning into an out-of-control Oozaru? We know that Goku only entered the form of Oozaru 3 times in his life. The first was when the unfortunate incident occurred in which he ended up murdering his grandfather Gohan, and the second happened during the Pilaf saga in classic Dragon Ball. The third and the last one happened during the 21st Martial Arts Tournament arc, where it was necessary for Master Roshi to destroy the moon itself for Goku to return to normal. So, since he became a child again, he could also end up recovering his tail. We know that Goku had immense affection for his tail when he was a boy, and that probably hasn't changed since then. And if in reality the villains of this new Dragon Ball anime Daima wanted the Saiyans who were turned into children to become Oozaru so he could control them all, Goku only entered this form 3 times in his entire life, so he doesn't have control over his own mind like Vegeta had and demonstrated during the Saiyan saga, so things would be very serious for Goku if he did him to transform into Oozaru, since he wouldn't know how to control this transformation. Furthermore, as I said before, the demons could use this to their advantage and thus control the Saiyan. I have no doubt that they would be able to do this extremely easily, since the Saiyans who have no control over the Oozaru just go about destroying him, everything they see along the way, so they don't have a very strong mentality in a way. If we take this as an example, it is obvious that Goku would be in serious trouble in the hands of the villains that will be presented in Dragon Ball Daima. But what about you? What do you think about this situation where Goku can get his tail back? Would you think this would be an interesting alternative to deal with in the new Dragon Ball Daima anime? Do you think Goku would eventually be able to control the Oozaru form or perhaps even achieve greater power with it? Comment below in the comments. Your opinions are quite diverse, so it helps me see the perspectives you have on this, so please comment below. Well guys, it's no secret that the Oozaru form offers great strength to Saiyans, but what if Goku obtained this form with the current power he has? Goku in his base state already has Divine Ki, so the Oozaru would come back naturally strong. Who knows? He might even be able to access Goku's own Super Saiyan transformations, right? We could even see a new transformation in the entire saga, something completely new and unexpected that we wouldn't expect to see in the entire franchise, something that would leave us truly surprised and excited. But anyway, all we can do is see what Akira Toriyama has prepared for Dragon Ball Daima. The anime has 20 episodes as a whole, so several things can be explored during this period of time. Guys, now that we've talked about Goku, let's talk about Vegeta. From what we can see, he will be a big highlight in Dragon Ball Daima 2. So I ask you, what if Dragon Ball Daima brings a villainous Vegeta? A Vegeta more or less similar to the Vegeta from the Saiyan saga. What would you think? Would you think it was a good idea? Well, but firstly, what do I mean by villainous Vegeta? Well, I'm referring to the fact that Vegeta ends up being controlled again by some kind of wizard in Dragon Ball Daima. And if that happens, that would definitely be the work of some kind of very powerful demon. Think about it, if the enemies are demons, then they will certainly also use their own magic. Magic in Dragon Ball is little talked about and also little explored. We only saw a bit about it during the Buu saga, and we saw a little more during the Moro saga. However, we have little information and little notion of what magic is really capable of doing in the work of Dragon Ball as a whole. As Dragon Ball Daima will address demonic villains, it would be the perfect opportunity to also explore magic, don't you think? Since Dragon Ball Daima will be focused on adventure, although there will also be fights throughout the series. In any case, the main enemies will certainly not be just those 2 demons that we saw in the trailer. It is practically certain that there will be many enemies that will also be demons, and consequently will give our Z warriors a lot of difficulty. It would be interesting if we could see a little more about this side of magic that can control the minds of very powerful warriors. This would show us that magic is an extremely lethal weapon if used in the wrong hands, as this would demonstrate that magic can cause serious damage even stronger warriors than magic users. In other words, it would demonstrate how dangerous and powerful mages in Dragon Ball could be. But everything will depend on what Akira will bring us during this series. And you, what do you think of everything I said about it? Do you agree with that? Do you think it's truly possible that Vegeta ends up being controlled again and becomes a villain that Goku will have to face? It would be something a bit nostalgic, as we would remember the old times. But anyway, we can only wait and see what could happen in the future in the series. Guys, as we finish today's video, do you believe that Daishinkan will be Dragon Ball Daima's new villain? Leave your opinion in the comments, and of course leave your like and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos like this. See you guys.